Have you ever thought about how weird change really is? Well, the ancient Greeks thought about it a lot. And today we're diving into the mind of one of the most brilliant puzzle solvers of that era, a philosopher named Empedocles. He tackled a real head-scratcher. How can anything change if you can't create something from nothing? Let's see how he did it. I mean, this was the paradox that basically broke philosophy for a bit. You have thinkers like Parmenides who are absolutely convinced that since you can't just poof something into existence, any change we see must be an illusion. But just look around. Everything is changing all the time. So what gives? So yeah, to really appreciate what Empedocles came up with, we have to understand the corner these thinkers had argued themselves into. They were trying to explain the vibrant, dynamic, ever-changing world they lived in, but their own logic said that true reality had to be totally static. Right, so this was the big idea on the table, and it created this huge gap between, deep philosophical thought and just living your life. The argument was that the real reality was this single, eternal, unmoving thing. All the stuff we see, a seed sprouting, wood burning, waves crashing, that's all just a trick of the senses. It's a pretty wild idea to swallow when you're watching a sunset, right? And this is where Empedocles just strolls in with this incredibly clever move. He doesn't throw out the rule that something has to be eternal. No, instead, he just redefines what that eternal something is. And this one little twist changes the whole game. He called his idea roots. And here's the genius part. He said these roots are the eternal, indestructible things. They never get created or destroyed. The roots themselves don't change, they just mix. So he keeps the rule that reality is eternal, but he makes it possible for that reality to rearrange itself. And what were these four eternal roots? Earth, air, fire, and water. The best way to picture it is like a cosmic box of Legos. The red bricks are always red bricks, the blue are always blue. You can't destroy them or make new ones, but you can take those same bricks and build a house, then take it apart and build a spaceship. Change isn't creation from nothing, it's just remixing the stuff that was already there. Okay, so that solves one problem, but it brings up a new one, right? If the universe is just a bunch of building blocks, what's actually doing the building and the smashing? This brings us to the next brilliant layer of his idea, the two forces that drive everything. He called them love and strife, and they are perfect opposites. Love, or philia, is the force of attraction, the cosmic glue that pulls the elements together into beautiful, harmonious combinations. And then you've got strife, or nikos. It's the force of division, the great separator that tears things apart and pushes everything towards chaos. In his view, the entire history of the universe is just one long, epic battle between these two. And you don't have to take my word for it. Empedocles himself described this eternal tug-of-war so perfectly. He says they never cease their continuous exchange. That's the key. It's not a one-time event. It's a constant cycle, an endless dance between coming together and being torn apart. So now we have the ingredients, the four roots, and we have the chefs, love and strife. Empedocles then zooms all the way out to show us how this all plays out over cosmic time. He saw the entire universe as a grand, repeating play in 4 acts. It starts in a state of perfection, what he called the sphere of love, where all the elements are blended into one. Then, strife starts to creep in, breaking that unity apart. The third stage is called the whirl of chaos, and guess what? That's where we are right now. Our world, with all its beautiful and messy combinations of things, exists because love and strife are in a constant battle. Eventually, strife wins for a while. Everything is separated, and then love begins its work all over again, starting the cycle anew. So let's put it all together. You've got 4 eternal elements, 2 opposing forces, and 1 endless cosmic cycle. You might be thinking, okay, that's a neat story, but this wasn't just some forgotten thought experiment. It was an idea so powerful and so elegant that it would literally define how we understood the world for millennia. Seriously, just let that number sink in. 2,000 years. From ancient Greece through the Roman Empire, the Middle Ages, all the way to the dawn of modern chemistry. The idea that everything was made of earth, air, fire, and water wasn't just an idea. It was the idea. It was the foundation of science, of medicine, of alchemy, of everything. That's some serious staying power.
So when we tally it up, what Empedocles managed to solve is just staggering. He gave us a way to understand change that didn't break the laws of logic. He basically invented the concept of fundamental elements, the building blocks of reality. And maybe most importantly, he suggested that invisible forces are what govern how all that stuff interacts. Those are cornerstones of how we still think today. Which leaves us with one last really cool thought. Empedocles saw the universe as this grand story of unity versus division, love versus strife. And when you look at our universe today, isn't that still kind of the story? We have gravity, this incredible force pulling everything together, and at the same time, we have entropy, this relentless march towards disorder and separation. So you have to wonder, is that ancient battle he described still the most fundamental story of all? Something to think about.